agenda is how we can differentiate between the database, data warehouse, and data lake. So, in which we are to be discuss how what are the pros and cons for each description, like database and data warehouse and data lake. Then we will came to know how we can just overcome with all those cons with the lake house. So in lake house we will discuss how what are the architecture we follow for the Databricks lake house, and what are the things which support lake house uh, for the optimization. Then we will discuss about the Azure Databricks architecture, in which I will be telling like how the what are the components which are being used in the Azure Databricks. Then we will came into the demo part, in which I will integrate the Azure Blob Storage with the database. So starting with the database, as we all are familiar with the database. So basically, the database is a collection of an information, so which follows the schema based. So and also the data which is in the database is basically the structure. We can say a semi-structured data. So that will be in a key pair value or table, which includes the rows and columns and everything that. And when I talk about the semi-structure, it includes the uh, email format or JSON, XML, all those kind of formats is the semi-structure format. So in a database, they support only the two kinds of formats, structure and semi-structure. So when we talk about the examples of the database is relational database, in which include MySQL, PostgreSQL, and then we will talk about the document database, which includes MongoDB, then key value database, Redis, and DynamoDB. So basically, uh, database is used for the asset transactions. That includes the online transaction which we are doing whenever we need to do some payment work, and regarding that, so that required the database. And also it is very we can say ease to store it in a table format. So whenever the business intelligence need to query the data in the database, so they have they can query it easily. So, but the thing is, when the data is in a huge amount, so then they will face an issue. Then the query may be slow in the database. So because it does not have functionality to store large amount of data inside the database. So to overcome this, we will then talk about the data warehouse. So what is the data warehouse? Database is actually the combination of different data sources. So when I talk about the different data sources, so in the diagram, we will clearly see like there is a one warehouse, and in which we have different kind of data, which is in sales format, production format, and finance format. And the data is a combination of different databases, and also as it is written, databases typically have a predefined and fixed decisional schemas. So we can it is good for business intelligence and analytical engineers to uh, query the data inside the data warehouse. And with the ease of this, we can also store different datas in different from different databases. So the example of the data warehouse is Amazon Redshift or Google BigQuery or Snowflake. And the pros for this is like it is high quality and reliability, and also it is very useful for the business intelligence, so they can query the data in with a formula, and then they get back to that data. So in that we can easily query the data among different databases at the same time. And also it will be good for the reporting solutions. So whether we want the up-to-date data, or whether we want the data which is 6 months back, so it is also it creates a report as per the requirement which we want. So, but the thing is, still, data warehouse uses the databases, and databases uses the structured and semi-structured data. So, in that, we can't deal with the unstructured data. When I talk about the unstructured data, it is like any format which is image, videos, or any kind of format which we want to store it as a data. So for that, this warehouse is not compatible. And also it is very difficult to scale up, and it offers a limited functionality for machine learning and data science. And it is quite expensive when we talk about, as we compare to the other, what we can say, data lake. So in the next topic, we will see how we can overcome this cons with a data house. So, so what is the data lake? Data lake is actually a repo which stores huge amount of data in a raw format. So when we talk about the raw format is a data which includes everything, that is structured, semi-structured, or whatever the data we want to store it in a data lake. So we have some examples for data lake is Amazon S3. So in S3, if I think everyone is familiar with Amazon S3. So in that we can store any kind of data. It's not schema based, or it is not fixed. Like we can only store it as a CVS files or table format. So we can store any kind of data, which is we can store any kind of file and images or videos, whatever we want to store. And another example is Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2. Then cloud also has this data lake is cloud Google Cloud Storage. And the pros for this data lake is they are in an open format, and it is easily scalable, and it has flexibility. And obviously, because all type of data is there, so we can also query the data among everything. Okay. So, and it also support the machine learning. So and it is cheaper than we talk about the warehouse. So for warehouse, we have to set up the warehouse in which we include the lots of databases. And the cons for this is like it still required the third-party tool for SQL queries, because when we store raw format data inside the data lake, then it will be really a tough job for the business intelligence or analytics to query the data as in a raw format. So for that, they face an issue. So for the schema based, they can easily query the data, but for the unstructured, which is photos, videos, so for that purpose, it is difficult to query the data from the data lake. And it is as we all know that I already said that we can store everything in this data lake. So in that also it may be complex, because we are just throwing the data from one place to another. So it may be complex and data quality may be reduced. So for example, if I want to like down, copy the video from my local to the data lake. So when let's say the video is half of the video is copied in the data lake and half is still left, and the data lake will store that video automatically. So that is also a problem. Like we could not get an error while throwing anything in a data lake. So it is just copy pasting, and that's it. And also it is difficult for the security governance for ACID processes, like for transaction processes. It creates an issue, its difficulties. So that I will discuss in the next slide, how we can overcome this as well. So the next is data, lakehouse. So lakehouse is a combination of data warehouse and data lake. So as we discussed the data, what is data warehouse? Data warehouse is a combination of databases, right? And in data lake, it's just we can store unstructured data also in the data lake. But the thing is, in a warehouse, we cannot scale up, and it's non-reliable to query the data. Sorry, it is in a structured way, and it is not. Let's get back to that slide. Okay, so it is difficult to scale, and it is quite expensive and it offers limited support to the ML. So when we talk about the lakehouse, it is flexible in that, so it can scale up and it can store schemas based data which is in a structured form. And when we talk about the data lake also, so in data lake, like we have an issue for data governance that for transaction processes. So that I will also clearly discuss in next slide. So, and it does not require any additional tool for the SQL queries or business intelligence. So that also overcame in the data lakehouse. So lakehouse offers the real-time streaming analytics. So what is the streaming analytics? Is the real-time data. So in today's world, maximum companies use the real-time data. For example, when we talk about the Sunsex, okay. So in that also we can see the up-to-date data, and the data is also compared to the last what you can say 6 months back data also. So that is quite reliable, and lot more new technologies. For example, Netflix and many other online streaming apps use this lakehouse. Okay, and it also support business intelligence, so it does not require any additional third-party tool to query the data. Not just for the schema based, it is also query the data for the unstructured data. So in the earlier slide of the data warehouse, it is only pull the query in the schema based. No, but not in the data lake. It does not require. It requires third party to pull that. But in the lakehouse, it overcome the functionality of the business intelligence, and also gave an easy support for the data science and machine learning. It support that, and also lakehouse. So what is this? This is a structure and semi-structure and structured data. So that is being pushed into this, and then this layer we can say is the delta layer. So this delta layer will support the transactional process. So what is the overcome of data lake is that it does not support the transactional processes. But for in lakehouse, it also support the transactional processes in an easy way. So basically, this layer basically support the transactional processes, and rest everything I already discussed how we can use that. So we can see like what are the main difference between the data warehouse, data lake, and data lake house. So okay, so I think it talk. Okay, I think the heading is wrong. It is a difference between the database, data lake, and data warehouse. So these are the functionalities which we compare the database, data lakehouse, and data warehouse. So when we talk about the workloads, it is database basically used for the transaction processes, and data lake and data warehouse is used for the analytical processes. And data type, as already discussed, and schema flexibility that is offered in a database but not in a data lake, and not good in a good manner in a data warehouse as well. And rest I already discussed what are the pros and cons for each of these databases. So next, now this is the main slide about how Databricks Lakehouse works. So from the bottom we can start. So basically, this layer offers the what we can say integration of the Databricks. So what I did is Azure, Microsoft Azure. So I just use Azure Databricks, which is integration of Microsoft, and uh, all the functionality I did on that. And also it offers the other cloud as well, AWS and GCP. And also if we want to integrate with the another third-party tools that head up HDFS. And then as I talk about the other slide as well, so this basically this layer offers the Delta Lake as mentioned here. So this is the Delta Lake. So what Delta Lake is, what are the functionalities of the Delta Lake is? So basically, it deals with the acid transactions processes. So like, let's say if we are going to do some online payments, right? So let's say if I just add the card number, and then something error goes on from my side, and then the window will shut down. So when I restart that window, then this all the data I have to retype it again. So that helps in security based. So in this way, it is very helpful in transaction processes when we talk about the Delta Lake. And Apache's Spark is just the compute which is used by the database. So basically, whatever the data which we want to store, whatever the logic which we put it on the Databricks is always runs on a cluster. So when I talk about the cluster, it does not mean the cluster is on Kubernetes one. It is just a compute engine which is provided by the Apache Spark. So why Apache Spark is there? So as we all are familiar with, like Apache Spark is quite fast, then it's 100 times fast in a memory storage. So that's why we use the Apache Spark. Then, as I discussed above, like it supports in a business intelligence and data warehousing. Then it also deals with the data engineering, data streaming, and helpful for the data science and machine learning as well. Okay. So these are the key features about Lakehouse, or what we can say about the Databricks Lakehouse. Okay, so as I said, that because of Delta Lake, it support the uh, transactional support. So like support the asset transaction, ensure the consistency as multiple parties concurrency read and write data. Okay, and also it has an openness with which we can just say store the data in any format. Okay, then it's for the diverse type of data, which is in a structure and semi-structure, and it also support for diverse workloads for machine learning, data science, SQL analytics, and many more. And the last is end-to-end streaming. So as I discussed earlier, the way we can watch online matches and do online streamings, for example, Amazon Prime and everything, Netflix. So that is also includes this feature. So end-to-end streaming. It's for end-to-end streaming. Now come to the point about the Azure Databricks. So so Databricks offers the integration with Azure, AWS, and GCP. So in Azure Databricks, what we have is just Databricks developer web. Databricks is just a platform which is working with the Spark. So what the Spark? So basically, what the Spark provides the compute engines to the Databricks, where we can just uh, where we can just run those compute and run all the workload on that compute instance which is present on the Spark, right? Then so these are the all key features of the Azure Databricks. So Azure Databricks used to process, store, clean, and whatever we want to apply business logic on the notebook. So notebook I will tell in the next slide. So what is the notebook? So that allow for functionality which is offered by Azure Databricks. And Azure is also the first cloud which is to be integrated with the Databricks. Rest all came later, like AWS and GCP. They came later. Azure comes into the picture first. So this is the actual diagram for the official diagram for the Azure Databricks architecture. So what it does is it offers the two plane, which is a control plane and another is customer plane, data plane, sorry. So in a control plane, so this plane is offered by the Databricks cloud account. So and this all functionality is handled inside the Databricks. So the Databricks web applications and customer notebook. So whatever we want to type a command or we just set up the business logic, it is present in the customer notebooks. So I will be more specific in the demo part regarding the customer notebook. Then I will go with the jobs and queries. So whatever the logic we set up inside, like how we are querying the data and how many times we want data from that notebook. So that is all set in the jobs, and regarding which type of query we want from the schema based, that is also there. Then and cluster management. So how we are managing the cluster. So whether we are managing only a single cluster or we are managing multiple clusters, the worker node and driver node separate. Then on the data plane side, so whatever data present in the blob storage which we want to integrate with the Azure Databricks, so that is also there. So in data plane is basically handles by our side, which requires a account, whether it is on Azure or AWS or GCP. So that is handled by our own. So the responsibility, how we can list the data and how we can query the data is our responsibility. So whatever data present inside the data plane is our responsibilities. And also like we can just do a single sign-on into the Databricks cloud account. So now we will jump into the demo part. Let me share in the screen for that. Please let me know if my screen.
Yeah.
Okay, wait a minute. Let me share another. Okay. So let me know when my screen is. So what I did first, so I just create a resource group. So and inside the resource group, I just create a storage account. So my storage account name is Databricks. So it is inside this resource group, which is Oops in it. So I created a resource group, and then under that, I just created a Databricks Oops in it. So that is just my storage account. And inside the storage account, I just create a container. So this is my container, okay? So inside, so my container name is, this is oops init assignment. So this is my container name, okay? So when I click on this, so these are number of list which is, so this is what the data present inside my container, okay? So so in this, I just store it in any format, which is whether it is in Excel format or CVS format, or we can just download PNG format, which is an image. Okay. So now, how we can integrate it with the Azure Databricks, right? So I just what I did. So let me go back to the this then container. So in the shared access token, not in this one. Okay. So for that, we have to just sync the authenticate the storage account with the uh, Azure Databricks, right? So in that, I just create a token, SS token, and share SS token. So in that, I just if whether which functionality you want to give. I prefer like list privileges we want to give to the access token which we want, and according to that, we can just also set token timing expiry date, how we can manage it. So I just created on the SAS and just copy this one. So this is what how we can authenticate. So now I will just sharing the screen for the that one. Wait a minute. So please let me know if my screen is visible.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
it is visible.
Okay. So this is how Azure Microsoft Azure Database look like. This is the UI. So in the workspace, everything is on the workspace, right? So how we can create a notebook and authenticate with the main aim of our this topic is like we have to just integrate the blob storage with the Azure Databricks, right? So what we do is just click on the notebook, and so whatever the task which are we going to do is everything is on the notebook. So there it just gives the CMD, this command interface, which is to be used in database. So what I did is I just let me copy the so also like it offers the different languages, for example Python, SQL, Scala, and our language. So right now I'm using a Scala language. So just how we can authenticate it with the blob storage. So first we have to just gives the container name. So this is the name of my container which I use, and then the storage name. So and on the above of that we have the storage name account. So this is my storage account name, right? So now we have to just paste it the SS token which we copied that. Let me copy it again. And so and also like I'm just defining variables how we can interact in another notebooks. Okay. So also it is just well already defined by the uh, on the official documentation inside the database. So just the variables used here. So whatever the we put it on the top is overlapping these. Okay. So in that it is making configuration. So that is also well defined in the documentation. So we are using the storage name, container name, and the storage name as well in that. So then just click on Shift plus Enter. Then it will just authenticate it with the Azure blob, right? So just wait for the output of the command. So this gives the authentication. So how we just did it. Okay. So now we just want to know like what are all the things which is inside the blob storage. So for that we just need to mount that blob storage to the database, right? So for mounting it inside this, so we just first of all let's list the mount folders which we have right now. Okay, for listing it out, I just uh, these are just utilities which present by the database. Basically, it interacts with the different CMDs inside the notebook, and it also like if the parameterized if the things are parameterized in this CMD, then it automatically pick up those. So this is what the functionality of DB utilities gives inside the database, right? So when I just run this command, so it will just mount the directories which are present inside this. So currently we have just so when we are mounting the blob storage to the database now, so we have to just create a folder structure which is inside the mount. So currently there is only the stage. Okay. So stage folder which I already did it earlier in the practice time. So right now I will just delete this mount point, and then I will create another one. Okay. So for deleting this, I just uh, another command is just for your purpose. So this is the stage one, right? Just copy this and place it over here, and I just uh, and that's all mounting points are offered by Databricks itself by default. Okay. So the value is true. That means the this folder is unmounted. So now what we want to do, we just want to mount the blob storage. Whatever the things present inside the blob storage, we want to list it over the inside the Databricks mount folder. Okay, so for that we just want to authenticate again with the Databricks to the blob storage. Okay, so for that this is a command. So in this command it just put it the source URL. So whatever the URL will present here, so it will just first pick up that URL, and then it will just where we want to mount the things. Okay, so let's say I want to mount it on the goods unit folder. Okay, and then the extra configuration files which we want to require to map the things which are present in the blob storage to the Databricks. Okay, so for that is just configuration which is defined here, and then we just require the access token. Okay, so whatever we press mentioned here above. For mounting this, now the we want everything which is present inside the blob storage now will be present inside the Obsidian mount, which is in the Databricks itself. Okay, so for that I just run this command. So the command is boolean is true, so that means the command ran successfully. And after that, I want to just list it the things which is present inside the blob one. Okay, so for that we have another command which is just to listing it whatever the things present inside the this one. Okay, so I have to just rename this because earlier we just delete it, and when I just list the things whichever present inside the obstinate mounting folder, that will list inside the under this, and also the things which are present in the blob storage, it will just list inside this mount obstinate. When I run this, so see this gives me the copies file there, and this download pn is there, and the survey.cs. So this is how we can just list it, the things whichever is present in the blob storage. So this is how we can mount the things, mount the blob storage with the Databricks, and that's it. So if I want to just list it, how many like what are the mount folders or mount points we have right now? So now it will list it out the obstinate one. See, uh, see. So here is the mount thing, and the source would be the whatever the source we present in the above command line. So if I just scroll up, so this is the source. This is the source, whatever the is present. Okay. So any questions till now? Okay.
Okay. Yeah, congrats. It was a nice session. So, yeah. But I would recommend कि Scala से better आप Python या उस पे सही.
ओके, ठीक है, वो कुछ नहीं, बस मतलब आगे वाली चीजें चेंज हो जाएंगी, रेस्ट एवरीथिंग इज सेम.
Scala मेरे ऊपर से निकल जाएगा. क्या था ये?